session is intended for any creator of the Construction Bid Awards. This includes the Avalon Babe construction admins, project engineers, assistant project managers, and the project managers. The Construction Bid Awards record really has a few purposes. First, it's used as a Class 3 bid package at your final round of RFPs or requests for proposal. Use this bid package when you're doing your final round of bidding before going to contract. Second, the bid award record is used for collecting responses from the vendors. Third, the bid award record will route when appropriate for approval before going to contract. And in addition, if a vendor was responsible for completing the pre-qualification process and then was scored as being a medium risk, the bid award record is used to communicate this to the regional safety manager and/or the regional construction VPs so that they can determine whether or not a risk mitigation plan is necessary. Lastly, if needed, a letter of intent can be created and sent to the vendor by using the bid awards record. Before we start our bid awards record, we want to make sure that we have everything ready. So first, are your vendor companies in I-beam? You can check this on the Workspace tab. So here in I-beam, to see if your vendor's already set up, you'll start on the Workspace tab, come to Vendor Manager, Vendors, and then Vendor. From here, you can search for your vendor by clicking on the Find button. Type in your vendor name or the Doing Business As name, and click Search. If your vendor companies have been set up in I-beam, have their users been set up to bid on the project? As long as the vendor companies and their users exist in I-beam, the admin can give the appropriate users access to the project for bidding purposes. If not, work with your admin on getting them into I-beam. Also, ensure you've created your bid documents record on the Project tab. This is optional, but I'll show it to you real quick. To create bid document links, you'll start on your Project tab and come down to Project Bids. From here, we'll go to Bid Information and then Bid Documents. To create a new bid documents record, you'll click on the New button. This record does not contain a workflow, but rather you'll just enter the information, attach the documents, and finish editing. We'll first provide a title, select our type, and give it a description. Next, we'll come down to the lower form and click on Bid Documents. From here, we'll be able to add any of the documents that we think the vendor will need to complete the bidding process. So we'll click on Add. And before you fill this information in, go ahead and pull in your attachment because you'll find the name will autocomplete. So we'll click on Attachment, Add Attachment, and then you can either select from your computer or a unifier folder, such as from Drawings. We'll say My Computer. Here I've pulled in a complete zip file, and I can give it the description and say OK. I also have the option of just adding every document one by one by clicking Add. Then Attachment, Add Attachment, My Computer. From here, I could go into another folder and select the appropriate document. Give it a description, and say OK. When you're finished, simply click Finish Editing. Again, using the bid document links are completely optional. You might choose to utilize Bluebeam or ShareFile links instead. Now we're ready to create our bid award on the Project tab. So let's take a look. First, Let's take a look at an existing bid award to give you an idea of how this is going to look. Here on our Project tab, under Project Bids, Bid Information, Bid Awards, we'll find our advanced log. You can expand these folders to see the various trades within. On the right-hand side, in the Record Log view, you can find all of your bid awards and can even sort them by title. You can also sort them by record number or bid due dates by clicking on the various headers. We'll keep ours sorted by title. Let's look at the electrical package. To open it, we'll simply double-click. We'll start with the upper form. Here you'll find some basic information. This has been auto-populated into the system. Next, you'll find the bid reference. You'll enter the bid award information, including the title and primary trade. Generally, to help the vendors quickly understand what they're bidding on, and to help the project team quickly sort and research the bid awards record, the title includes the trade dash what the package is for. For example, here, 26-electrical bid package. If the record is being created by someone other than the project manager, it can be sent to the project manager for initial review before the invitation to bid is sent out to the bidders. Here we'll find the project's designated contacted email. You'll also find the bid due date, the bid type, and the class of hard costs. And in this area, you'll add a description, and the vendors will be able to see that description in their bid response record, though they never see this actual bid awards record itself. You'll also find the bidding documents that you can pull in should you choose to utilize them. Here at the bottom of the record, you'll find the final bid scope, any alternates, and then the bidders list. Anybody on this bidders list will receive an invitation to bid, and then their responses will be found here on this tab. So now let's go ahead and create a new record. Again, there is an option to have these records routed to the PM for review before the bid invitations go out to the vendors. So here we are on our Project tab, and we'll go under Project Bids, Bid Information, Bid Awards. Remember, you always have additional help here by coming up to the Help button and Bid Awards Help. This will pull up step-by-step instructions to walk you through the process. First, we'll click on New. To expand the upper form, simply click here. Remember that any field that is gray you're not able to influence, but any field that has a red asterisk is mandatory. You'll have the option to reference and pull in a previous bid package from the initial bidding process. If your project started in I-beam from the beginning, you'll be doing your initial bidding in I-beam and can say yes and then pull in that initial bid package. If, however, you transition to I-beam after initial bidding took place, then your answer will be no, and your reason would be initial bidding took place outside of the system. And in that case, there's no bid package to pull in, and this button will be grayed out. Now we can add our title. Again, we suggest that you use the trade, dash, and then the bid package type. That makes it easier for the bidding vendors to understand right away what they're looking at, and in addition, it helps you find the correct record as you review the log view. Then add the vendor's primary trade. Again, I'm logged in as a PM, but if you were not the PM creating the record, you could determine if the record needs to be sent to the PM for initial review. Here, you'll add the designated project contact for the bidders. Next, we'll add the final bid due date. The bid type has already auto-populated, but we'll select our hard costs class. In this area, You'll add a description that the vendors will be able to see in their bid response record, though they never see the actual bid awards record itself. For the description, keep it brief, and know that the formatting is not going to flow through in the notification email the same way. We recommend you include a brief description of the project, reiterate the due date, then if you have any links to share, feel free to add them here in the description box. Next, we suggest you include the video links, specifically a new user's video and then responding to a bid request video. And then finally, who to contact if they have questions. Now keep in mind, the vendors that you have bidding on this project should already have been made aware that we're utilizing Unifier, and to be on the lookout for a bid invitation coming from Unifier. Next, we'll move on to the bidding documents. If you did create bid document links, then you're able to pull them in here by clicking Select. And there's our bid documents. If you haven't created a bid scope, when you click Select, you won't find any documents, and that'll be your trigger to know to go back and get that done, if you choose to use that option. That's it for the upper form, but we still need to make the bidders aware of the individual line items we're asking them to bid against, so we'll come down to the final bid scope. If you've created your initial bid package in the system, you'll be able to use Copy, Consolidate Line Items to pull in the various line items that you need from your initial bid package. It's also possible that you would have an estimates upload to pull from. Or perhaps you don't have either of these, and instead you'll simply be clicking Add. Here under Cost Code, you have a few options. One is you can start typing in the code. Another is you can start typing in the item. So I've typed in light for lighting, and I'll be able to pull in lighting design, give it a short description, and then the unit of measure. And I can click OK. Then you simply repeat this process for every line item. Another option that you have is the grid functionality. For this, you click on this grid button. Anything you've already entered will come up, and then you can simply double-click to create another line and start typing. The areas that have the red asterisks are mandatory. Now this short description portion that we're adding is what the vendor will be responding to. They'll never see the cost code itself. You could even take a line and copy it, pasting it to the line below, and just adjust the description. Once you're done, click Save. Then close Window, and here are your line items. If you added one that you don't need, you can simply highlight it and click Remove. Or, to change something about a line item, you can just double-click in. Another option for finding your cost codes is to click on Add, and then instead of starting to type here, you can click this little icon and bring up all of the cost codes. You might choose to collapse them all, and then just expand the areas that you need. You also have the option of using the Find button. We'll click Find, and you can either look by cost code or description and just start typing. Click Find Next, and the system will take you through wherever your keyword has been found. Then you can just double-click to bring that code in. If you're looking for a cost code that doesn't exist, or if you need to add the cost code you'll be using, you're able to do this by going to the Workspace tab and entering cost code modification requests. Now that we have all of the cost codes in the system that we're asking the vendors to bid on, you also have the ability to add alternates here. To do this, just click Add and follow the same basic process. Now we're ready to add our bidders. To do this, we'll click on the Bidders List tab. Next, we'll click on Add. From here, we select the vendor. Vendors are pulled in from the complete list at the corporate level. If you can't find a vendor, try a few ways of searching. Consider utilizing the DBA search option as well. Now, if they're not in the system, the admin will need to take action. So for example, after having clicked Find, under vendor name, I'll type in KB. Then I'll click on Search. Double-click on the proper vendor's company name, and they'll be pulled into the record. Keep in mind that there must be a bid contact associated with that vendor so that a bid response record, otherwise known as the invitation to bid, will go to an actual user. So we'll click Select, double-click on the user, and say OK. If for any reason you're not ready to send the invitation to bid emails out, you can save to drafts by clicking Save. Now your bid awards records can be found under Drafts. So we'll come to Tasks and Drafts, Drafts, and there's our bid awards record. You can go back in at any time by double-clicking. You can also add bidders later if needed. So we'll click on Add and select another vendor. Add as many bidders as you need. Now that we've added all of our bidders and we're ready to send the bid invitation emails, we'll come up to our workflow actions and select Submit. Once we do that, we can see that the record is going to go out for bid. As soon as we click Send, vendor users listed here will receive a task in the system for their own unique bid response record and an automated email inviting them to bid. Click Send. If you need to add a vendor at a later time, simply click back into the record under Bid Awards, accept the task, and then on the Bidders List tab, click Add and add any additional vendors needed. And click OK. Now we'll come back up to our workflow actions, select Add Bidders to Scope, and only the new bidders will receive an invitation to bid that corresponds to their own bid response record. And to make that happen, click Send. The vendors invited to bid will receive an email similar to this one. Note that it comes from Unifier. When we click in, they'll be able to see some basic information like the project, the task due date, and the record number. We'll scroll down. Here they can see the title to know what they're bidding on and the final bid due date. And this is where we find the description. Remember, we said that we wouldn't see it in the same format as you entered it, but once they click into the record itself to take action, they'll see it differently. We'll scroll down some more and they can find the AVB project contact, and then the information letting them know that they're invited to bid. It's important that your bidders are aware prior to receiving this notification, or they may not recognize it as an Avalon Bay invitation to bid. As we scroll down a little further, here's the quick link to help the user log into the system. To learn about reviewing the vendor's bid responses and pulling the bid analysis summary, look for other videos in this playlist. For assistance, please either refer to the written instructions or contact the helpline at either extension 3000 or at our toll-free number.